Welcome to World News by Halandzovskyi. If you value calm, accurate, and fact-based reporting on global developments, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. Today, we look at a new diplomatic initiative by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a proposal to create a demilitarized zone as part of efforts to bring an end to the war with Russia. President Zelensky's proposal calls for the establishment of a demilitarized zone, an area where military forces from all sides would withdraw their weapons and troops, creating a buffer space intended to reduce hostilities and open space for negotiations. The concept is rooted in the idea that physically separating combatants could help lower tensions, minimize battlefield clashes, and create a secure environment conducive to diplomatic engagement. A demilitarized zone is not new in global diplomacy. It has been used in other conflicts as a step towards ceasefires, confidence building, and eventual peace agreements. In Zelensky's formulation, the demilitarized zone would need to be backed by clear arrangements regarding who controls or monitors it. Proponents of the idea suggest that international observers, potentially under the auspices of the United Nations or a coalition of neutral states, would play a key role in enforcement and verification. The zone's boundaries, governance, and monitoring mechanisms would have to be defined through negotiation, taking into account both security needs and the realities on the ground. A central emphasis in the proposal is that the demilitarized zone must be mutual and balanced, meaning that all parties involved in the conflict would be expected to withdraw military assets from the designated area. The goal is to prevent any side from gaining an unmilitarized advantage and to build trust incrementally rather than advancing unilateral security gains. Zelensky's plan also envisions the broader framework of peace talks that situate the demilitarized zone as part of a multi-stage process leading toward a sustainable settlement. This includes discussions on permanent borders, security guarantees, displacement, and reconstruction, elements that must eventually be addressed for a durable peace. The proposal for a demilitarized zone reflects a strategic effort by Ukraine to create fertile ground for negotiation without conceding core principles, particularly the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. From Kyiv's perspective, a demilitarized zone could serve multiple purposes. It could reduce immediate bloodshed, lessen pressure on frontline communities, and create political space for diplomats to engage without the urgency of daily combat dominating the agenda. By establishing neutral ground, Zelensky hopes to lower the intensity of hostilities and shift the dynamic toward a negotiated settlement. At the same time, the idea faces serious diplomatic hurdles. First, getting all parties to agree on the terms is inherently difficult. For Russia, whose military operations and strategic goals include control over occupied territories, a withdrawal from a contested zone may be seen as weakening its position. Moscow may be reluctant to commit to a demilitarized area without firm guarantees that it will not lose political leverage or security advantages. Second, the details of deployment, monitoring, and enforcement are complex. A demilitarized zone would require robust mechanisms to prevent violations, including external oversight. Agreeing on the composition and mandate of monitoring forces and their rules of engagement would be a delicate diplomatic task. Third, questions of sovereignty and territorial control arise. A demilitarized area must still respect the sovereign rights of the state in whose territory it is located. Balancing neutrality, impartial monitoring, and sovereignty is a nuanced diplomatic challenge. Finally, any proposal for de-escalation must contend with domestic political reactions. In Ukraine, there is strong sentiment on both sides. Some see such proposals as practical steps toward peace, while others worry that compromises on security could leave the country vulnerable. In Russia, domestic politics and narratives about territorial gain and security may influence how proposals are received or interpreted. Despite these challenges, the introduction of the demilitarized zone idea signals a shift in diplomatic strategy, an attempt to reframe part of the conflict in terms that make negotiation feasible. How other global actors, including European governments, the United States, and international organizations, respond will play a key role in determining whether the idea gains traction. Thank you for watching this report on World News by Halandzovskyi. If you found this breakdown informative, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. Independent reporting helps us make sense of complex efforts toward peace. Stay informed, and see you in the next update.